There are some really hilarious moments in The Lord of the Rings, and I'm talking book here. We all know the funny moments in the movie, but there are even better moments in the book. I think it's one of J.R.R. Tolkien's most underrated elements as a writer. He just knows how to do comedy really well in small ways. I think of some of my favorite moments, like one where Gandalf, who hadn't yet met up with Merry and Pippin, and they don't know he's alive back from the Balrog, he came on horseback rushing up to Isengard right before the Battle of Helm's Deep because it was a little different in the book. And Pippin sees him and loses his mind, but Pippin recounts the hilarious moment and he says, "Did he say hello, Pippin? This is a pleasant surprise." "No, indeed," he said. "Get up, you tomfool of a Took. Where in the name of wonder and all this ruinous Treebeard? I want him, quick." Such a funny moment. Or I love the moment when Gandalf makes fun of the elves a little bit for when they're on Croadras, and they're talking about all the snow, and someone says, "If Gandalf would go before us with a bright flame, he might melt a path for you," said Legolas. The storm had troubled him little, and he alone of the company remained still light of heart. "If elves could fly over mountains, they might fetch the sun to save us," answered Gandalf. "But I must have something to work on. I cannot burn snow." And so after a little bit of conversation, Legolas then springs up from the snow and then he runs back down the mountain, mocking Gandalf in a light-hearted way, saying, "Farewell," he said to Gandalf. "I go to find the sun." It's another really small but really hilarious moment. Or one of my favorite moments all time is the gifts that he gives, that Bilbo gives his extended family after he puts on the ring and disappears. They're so good. It shows how snarky Bilbo is. He gave Adelard Took an umbrella because she kept stealing ones of his. He gave Dora Baggins a wastepaper basket because she wouldn't stop writing to him. He gave ink and pens to Milo Burrows, who never wrote to him. He gave a large convex mirror to someone who thought she was a bit too shapely, which is so funny. He gave Hugo Bracegirdle an empty bookshelf because he kept stealing his books. And then he gave the Sackville Bagginses the silver spoons they had just been stealing away for the entire time. There are so many other good, hilarious moments in these books. And I could just keep naming them. And I'm actually curious, too, if you can write in the comments what you think is the funniest moment from these books. I would love to read some of those comments and just kind of recall some of those really great moments. But I am reading the book for the first time, and I think I came across one of the funnier moments in the entire book so far. I'm only on the first chapter of The Return of the King, but it's essentially about this character who isn't in the movies at all, named Beregil. He's the son of Beregond. And Beregond is a man of Gondor, and Beregil is a son. And Pippin meets this kid after he spends the day with Beregond. And Beregond has to go back to work, so he sends him off to his son. And their interaction is fraught with just two kids on the playground who are arguing for whose dad could beat up the other dad. And it's one of the funniest moments in the book for a line that Pippin says at the end. And maybe this is just funny because I read Pippin saying this line with a lot of severity and seriousness, and so it's really hilarious to me. And Pippin just plays this kid in a really funny way. So the background is he's walking down the street after Beregond leaves, and he's looking for Beregil. And he's walking, and like as he's walking, everyone in the streets is gossiping about him, saying that he's the prince of the halflings, and they're kind of meaning this in a good way. And so he keeps walking unbothered and comes across a group of boys. Beregil is one of them, and this is what the book says. Presently, one of them caught sight of him, and without a shout, he sprang across the grass and came into the street, followed by several others. There he stood in front of Pippin, looking him up and down. "Greetings," said the lad. "Where do you come from? You are a stranger in this city." "I was," said Pippin, "but they say I have become a man of Gondor." I, first of all, just love how this kid is kind of looking him up and down. He is totally just sizing Pippin up, and he confesses that in the next section when he says, "Oh, come," said the lad. "Then we are all men here. But how old are you, and what is your name? I am 10 already, and shall soon be 5 feet. I am taller than you. But then my father is a guard, one of the tallest. What is your father?" Now, again, this is hilarious. He's totally just trying to figure out who Pippin's dad is, so he can say that his own dad can kick his Pippin's dad's butt. So Pippin goes on. "Which question shall I answer first?" said Pippin. "My father farms the lands round White Wall, near Tuckborough, in the Shire. I am nearly 29, so I pass you there, though I am but 4 feet, and not likely to grow any more, save sideways. 29, said the lad, and whistled. Why, you are quite old as my uncle Yorlas still. He added hopefully, I could wager I could stand you on your head or lay you on your back. And this is where the really funny bit is, because in my head I imagine Pippin has a really, really good comedic timing and a good comedic tone. And I imagine that he reads this text not with a smile and a laugh. Well, he does at the beginning, but then he reads it in a dead serious way, almost like a Liam Neeson, like I will find you and I will kill you kind of way. And I'm just going to read it like that because I just find it funny and fun. But this is what he says. Maybe you could, if I let you, said Pippin with a laugh, and maybe I could do the same to you. We know some wrestling tricks in my little country where, let me tell you, I am considered uncommonly large and strong. And I have never allowed anyone to stand me on my head. So if it came to a trial and nothing else would serve, I might have to kill you. For when you are older, you will learn that folk are not always what they seem. And though you may have taken me for a soft stranger lad and easy prey, let me warn you, I am not. I am a halfling, hard, bold, and wicked. Pippin pulled such a grim face that the boy stepped back at a pace. But at once he returned with clenched fists and the light of battle in his eye. No, Pippin laughed. Don't believe what strangers say of themselves either. I am not a fighter. But it would be politer in any case for the challenger to say who he is. The boy drew himself up proudly. I am Bergil, son of Beregond of the Guards, he said. So I thought, said Pippin, for you look like your father. I know him, and he sent me to find you. I think I really find this section one of the funniest of the book for just how Pippin delivers that line. And I think you have this kid here, Bergil, who just wants to fight and wants to be like his dad, but he's still a kid. And then you have Pippin, who to Bergil looks like a kid, and Bergil just wants to fight him. It is such like a little boy thing to do, to be honest. And I find that Tolkien's books are littered with these really funny moments. I think they're really subtle as well, and he's such a good writer for throwing small bits of comedy in there that totally take you off guard, that just make you chuckle a little bit. And this is one of those, and I just wanted to share that. But anyway, let me know what you think is the actual funniest moment in the book. I am very curious to read what you think is the funniest moment. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and as always, remember to look toward Numenor that was, and beyond to Elvenhome that is, and to that which is beyond Elvenhome, and will evermore be. I'll see you in the next one.